I can't imagine you're sleeping much these days because there's too much to talk about in sports. What exactly is going to happen for this Super Bowl? How big of a business will it be this year, given the virus pandemic?
Well, Dom, first of all, thanks for having me. We're making history ourselves, right? It's first time, man, you get to share a screen. So it's an honor for me to be on screen with a legend like yourself. So thanks for having me. I'm not getting to too much sleep, but, that's what it's all about, right? That's what we're in the business for. And this week is going to be different. I think, listen, the NFL, this is the biggest event, biggest sporting event, one can argue, of the year. And, the Super Bowl is where it all happens. I think, you just mentioned it, Brady versus Mahomes. It doesn't get any better than that, right? You have two quarterbacks, one of which is a legend and the other one is trying to get to that point. And if he wants the crown, take it from Brady, and that's what this game is all about. I think there's a lot of excitement around the game from the business aspect. You got to understand the NFL is not going to make as much money as they did down in Tampa as they did in Miami last year because the capacity is different. The pandemic obviously is affecting that. And I think that the thing that everybody's going to be looking at post Super Bowl is the ratings, to see if they can eclipse 100 million total viewership, and that includes streaming. So we'll find out. I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be exciting. I think the NFL is doing the best they can around the safety and protocols of it. So we'll see exactly what happens. And if they can get this one more game left, if they can get it over and done with and start to look ahead to 2021 season.
Over the last couple of years, Jabari, and I know that you've been following this closely, there's been a surge, a huge push in daily fantasy sports, online gambling, that sort of thing. A lot of jurisdictions around the country have now legalized it. How big of an event will this be, the Super Bowl, for betting, now that we have so many places where it's legal? But, of course, the restrictions about going to actual sports books like in Las Vegas because people just don't travel as much with the virus pandemic.
Well, you know what? I can tell you one thing. People do travel to bet. DraftKings reported yesterday a man flew from Texas to Colorado because Texas is not available for the sports betting platform, not yet, but flew from Texas to Colorado to place a $3.6 million bet, something around there. So if he wins, he stands to win $2 million. So people are flying to make bets. And American Gaming Association came out and said that they expect $4.3 billion just to be bet around the Super Bowl alone, Dom. $4.3 billion around a Super Bowl alone. I don't think that's not a number to frown at. I think that's great for the industry, for the sports betting industry. I mean, listen, it's here. And it's more in talking to FanDuel yesterday, and the CEO, Matt King, on the phone with him, he kind of made a great point. As much as this is going to evolve, as it continues to evolve and more states adopt sports gambling, all you're going to do is take money away from the illegal markets, and that's more money that's available to be taxed. So, listen, if they can get to that 4.3 billion number, I think that's a great sign for the industry, and it's only going to eclipse that next year, especially around these prop bets, as more people get used to sports gambling. I think that's where the problem, that's where they got to start to speed up, their brand awareness to get more people used to it. And once you got people hooked, I don't think they're turning back.
No, and Jabari, that's a great point here. But it's also a double-edged sword, right? We've seen kind of during the pandemic lockdowns, there's been a huge interest. Day trading activity is picked up by many metrics that we kind of look at. A lot of people are now looking towards other ways to entertain themselves if they have the financial means. And unfortunately, even if they don't have the financial means to do so, is this overall going to be one of those catalytic type moments for the industry, much like it has been for online brokers during the virus pandemic? Will there be that many more people they can bring to market because of a game like the Super Bowl during a pandemic?
If they win, if people win, they're going to keep coming back. We'll see. It's still the early days, Dom, for sports gambling, and a lot has to happen. Market share is still kind of, DraftKings, FanDuel, the Bet MGMs of the world. Everybody's trying to gain position and market share. And again, they got to raise that brand awareness about their products. That's why daily, you see a lot of daily fantasy companies still starting up because they're still trying to train a consumer. Say, hey, we're here, we're over here, you can bet. And people are still becoming aware that they can bet in their own states. A classic example, again, Texas is going to be a big market. I don't think it's going to happen any time down there anytime soon. But I mean, listen, when you got people flying from Texas to Colorado to place a bet, I think you can be sure that it's here to stay. And it's just you're going over the next 5 to 10 years, you're just going to see the market grow and see who's going to get that market share. So it's here to stay. I don't think it's just a moment. this is a big moment for the NFL, obviously, but for sports gambling companies as well. So we'll see exactly what they can generate, but I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. I think more and more people are going to gravitate towards sports gambling. I'm getting, starting to get used to the terminology myself. I ain't going too far from the blackjack table, but I can imagine in a few years, people, myself, maybe placing a sports bet or two on a mobile app.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.